Hi everyone, welcome into my YouTube channel. Lovely to have you here. Now today I'm going to be covering a really interesting study that's just come out about the SP1000 gene and the rise of transcriptomic rejuvenation. So this is going to be a bit of a scientific deep dive into the Shift Bioscience's new study that's come out using AI to help us hopefully live longer and be younger. So let's dive on into it. So the question was, can we reverse biological age safely and precisely without triggering cancer or de-differentiation? And Shift Biosciences, which is a biotech company based in Cambridge in the UK, announced the discovery of the SP1000, a single gene that reverses cellular aging by over 13 years while preserving cellular identity and avoiding pluripotency. What is pluripotency? Pluripotency is when the cell is so far differentiated, it becomes like an embryonic cell, if you like, that can become anything. We don't want to take the cells back that far because then it can trigger cancer and things like that. So we want to be able to still say differentiated the cell, but not go back to pluripotency. So this video will be a little bit of a deep dive into the science, their AI platform behind the discovery, the potential mechanisms, and the future of this technology. Now, spoiler alert, you're not going to be able to take a pill tomorrow and start reprogramming your cells. We're not quite there yet, but it is a really great piece of research, and it's really, really exciting. So why reprogramming? Well, since the discovery of the Yamanaka factors in 2006, it's almost 20 years ago, believe it or not, the possibility of reprogramming cells to a youthful state has captivated longevity researchers. However, the OSKM reprogramming, those are the four genes, whether full or partial, has major limitations. So there's a risk of de-differentiation, oncogenic activation, especially the MYC gene, loss of cell identity, and partial reprogramming with OSK shows promise, but still risks activating that pluripotency networks. And the holy grail is really decoupling rejuvenation from de-differentiation. In other words, we want to rejuvenate the cell, but we don't want, say, a skin cell to think it's now a liver cell, right? We want it to stay a skin cell and just be rejuvenated, go back to what it was without de-differentiating. So Shift Bioscience's innovation, now they took a really novel approach, focusing not on reprogramming, but on mimicking its rejuvenation signature using AI-guided gene perturbation. That's a big word. Their breakthrough combined two core technologies. Now they used a proprietary aging clock 3, which hasn't been validated very widely. So we've got to take this with a little bit of a grain of salt, but it's there. Aging clock 3, a single cell transcriptomic aging clock capable of high resolution age scoring, and the virtual cell, which is an AI engine trained on aging and reprogramming data sets to stimulate the effect of perturbing each gene in the genome. Now, through billions of in silico simulations, the AI evaluated which genes reduce transcriptomic age, and they looked at 1,500 gene candidates, ones that, based on previous research they thought would be good candidates. They looked at ones which were avoiding activating this OSKM or pluripotency networks, which preserve cell identity markers. And this led to the identification of one particular gene. Now, there were another bunch of genes that actually were even better than the Yamanaka factors, but one in particular showed real promise, and it's called the SP000 or SP1000, a gene that induced a robust rejuvenation signature without the usual risks. And this is why it's interesting. So what is SP000? Now, this remains undisclosed as of mid-2025. However, the data released shows 13.6 years of age reversal on this aging clock 3 transcriptomic clock, and parallel reversal on DNA methylation clocks. Now that point is really interesting because these have been around a bit longer, a bit more validation, and so they did see that it wasn't just on their AC3 clock, but also on the DNA methylation clock. identity preservation in fibroblasts, in keratinocytes and other cell types. So they took, they had candidates that were between 1 and 87 years old, and they took skin cells from these people and they saw what happened. Now, there were no activation of pluripotency markers, so the OX4, the SOX2, the MYC, or the NANOG. Now, this gene is hypothesized to act upstream of gene regulatory or chromatin remodeling networks without tipping it into de-differentiation. As I said before, we don't want your skin cell turning into a brain cell or a liver cell, right? We want to keep it as a skin cell, just a younger one. So from mechanistic insights, though the gene's identity is hidden, possible roles include epigenetic regulation, for example, methyltransferase or chromatin remodeler, transcriptional modulation affecting histone marks or enhancer usage, or mitochondrial rejuvenation via metabolic shifts, and downstream impact on DNA repair, proteostasis, or autophagy. Now, what makes the SP000 unique is its ability to trigger rejuvenation without pluripotency risk and with preserved cell type function. So they used AI at scale and Shift's virtual cell platform. So this discovery was only possible thanks to the massive scalability of Shift's AI. They simulated 562 million triple perturbations, learning causality from reprogramming databases. They identified gene perturbations that emulate the rejuvenation process, and this represents a major shift in longevity science rationale, an AI-driven rejuvenation discovery. Now, other companies like Infineon and In Silico are also entering the space, but Shift's platform is notable for its integration of high-dimensional biological clocks and deep learning. So early results and validation. Data from multiple cell types, fibroblasts and keratinocytes. Functional assays show preserved identity and function. Epigenetic and transcriptomic clocks show rejuvenation, yet all studies at the moment are only in vitro. So they're not in animals, they're not in humans yet, and the SB1000 identity is not disclosed, hindering replication by other companies, right? Now, still early feedback has been cautiously optimistic. Steve Horvath, who's, the father of the aging clocks, called it the holy grail if it's reproducible, and that's a big if. And Paul Knopfler and Jean Loring emphasized the need for in vivo data and functional validation. The therapeutic implications, SB000 could be deployed as a gene therapy, for example, via AAV, a target for small molecule modulation, a springboard for discovering additional rejuvenating genes. And Shift is also developing SP101, a small molecule inhibitor targeting age-promoting pathways revealed by their screen. And applications could include age-related fibrosis, with, for example, the liver or the heart, neurodegenerative diseases, or systemic rejuvenation for longevity, which is the what we're really all after. Future directions. So the key next step mouse studies, a proof of concept in vivo, functional assays for wound healing, stress resistance, regenerative capacity, mechanistic elucidation of SB000's gene regulatory network, potential disclosure and open science validation, that would be great. Larger implications, AI can discover safe, effective rejuvenation targets, and we may soon treat aging at the gene regulatory level. Modular tissue-specific rejuvenation is also on the horizon. So just to sum it all up, the SB1000 may represent the first of a new class of rejuvenation intervention. Transcriptomic rejuvenators that reverse age markers without losing cell identity or risking de-differentiation. And if animal models confirm these findings, and if the gene's mechanism proves safe, SB1000 could launch an entirely new frontier in longevity therapeutics. This is no longer theoretical, it's computational, it's biological, and it's happening now. And while we still have to, as aging humans, have to wait and hope that these guys have their breakthroughs, it's a really exciting time to be alive. It's exciting that AI is really starting to collapse the time that it takes for all of this research to happen, and I'm really excited to see where this goes. So if you're interested in the study, you want to read all about it, I'll put a link down in the show notes below and you can go and check it out yourself, and stay tuned for more on this front. Thanks, guys. And while you're here, please do like and subscribe to the channel. I love doing longevity content, talking about aging, anti-aging, how you can be the best version of yourself, high performance. So check out everything that we do over here on my channel. So thanks, guys, and we'll see you again soon.